We got a new update for the Toronto Blue Jays concerning Juan Soto, and this is from the most credible reporter in the industry, Jeff Passan. He came out and said that the teams that are still in it are still in it. No teams have been eliminated. No decision has been made as of yet from Juan Soto, and of the teams remaining, the Toronto Blue Jays are one of them. So we're going to break down this new update and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. Welcome in, everybody, to Jay's Digest. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse. And I feel like I'm watching an episode of The Bachelorette here, where Juan Soto is handing out roses to teams that he's still interested in signing with. Oh, let me eliminate these teams. You don't get a rose this week. The Blue Jays, the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, you all get a rose. You're all moving on to the next round of meetings. So we're going to keep you up to date on all of those meetings. We're going to keep you up to date on all of the new tidbits of news that come out. I understand that you guys are getting impatient in the comment section down below, but we're doing our best. We're getting impatient as well. We want a decision to be made. We want pen to paper. But thank you guys for all the support that we've gotten because we hit 14,000 subscribers and it's truly unbelievable how far we come in just a couple of years. So shout out to you guys. But don't stop the support here. Keep it going all off season long and into next season as well. But Nick, a lot to dive into today. A lot of new reports, and this is the top dog right here in the industry. Jeff Passan is the guy that you can trust. He's never had any flub ups. He's never had any mix ups. He's never said that Arson Judge is signing with the San Francisco Giants. This guy is clean as a whistle. He is the guy when you want baseball news and when you want it reported correctly. So I'm very encouraged by this update. I still don't think he's going to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays, but still, whenever Passan comes out and says this, it's good news.
Yeah, let's dive right into it. You can see here there's a bunch of different things, and we'll go over them because there's also a bunch of other reports from other fairly notable reporters, but we'll obviously start with the biggest one in Jeff Passan. And if you actually read the whole tidbit, I'll kind of summarize it. But according to Jeff Passan, all teams that have made an offer to Juan Soto are still in, including the Dodgers and, of course, the Blue Jays. Yeah, this is obviously a Dodgers account, so he emphasized the Dodgers. Jays are also in it. He also said that there will be meetings over the weekend, which can end in a decision on Soto's next team. So if you actually go and listen to the specific clip, essentially, there's been reports saying that Juan Soto has signed with the Mets, that he signed with the Red Sox, that the Jays have been eliminated. At this time, every team, including the Toronto Blue Jays, is still involved. We have some encouraging updates as well, which we'll get into in a minute here. But they're going to drag this into the weekend. So Soto's going to have final meetings, according to Jeff Passan, this weekend with all the remaining teams. At this point, it seems 5 teams, the Dodgers, Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, and Blue Jays. So those 5 teams are going to have meetings with Juan Soto on this weekend, and he is, in all likelihood, according to Passan, going to sign this weekend or early next weekend before the winter meetings officially get underway. So there's a couple other reports we'll dive into, but again, all the offers are still in. A decision will be made following the meetings this weekend. This is a certainly different tone than yesterday's reports where the things were, indifferent. Scott Boras said they're not imminent. Sorry, not indifferent, not imminent. What are your thoughts on this, Peter? He's dragging it out a little bit longer, but if you're a Jays fan and you've been seeing and keeping up with Twitter over the past 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, you saw a bunch of reports saying the Jays were out of it and all these things. All the teams are in, and we also have a couple of other reports which we'll get into here surrounding how much they're actually willing to spend, because, again, they're going to be the top spender, I think, but they might not land Soto despite being the top spender, which we'll dive into in a minute here. But Passan spoke. It's going to be the weekend at the earliest.
That's something that I don't understand, Nick, because what were we hearing all along when the offseason started? He's going to go to the highest bidder. He's going to go to the team that gives him the most money. But then the report that comes out that says the Blue Jays are going to offer the most money, then all the other reporters are coming out and say, "Oh no, but it's not going to be the Blue Jays. He's going to go to the next best team after that offer." So whatever, man. Like, let's just let this whole thing play out. Let's not listen to all the predictions and all the hearsay every now and then. Like, I just want to wait for Jeff Passan to come out and announce the deal. I wish we could just fast forward to that date, but unfortunately, it's not possible. And poor guy, right? Poor Juan Soto, who has to wait an entire weekend to decide who he's going to get $700 million from. I pity him. I truly pity Juan Soto for having to make such a difficult decision. But it's imminent. It's around the corner. The weekend is just a couple of days away, and Nick, I'm excited. I'm excited for this thing to be over because it feels like deja vu. It feels like Otani 2.0, and we've kind of done it to ourselves here. But it's hard to ignore. This is the story of the offseason. Juan Soto is the guy that every team that is looking to get more competitive over the offseason is chasing. So the Blue Jays are in the mix like they usually are with these high-profile free agents. And it seems that they're very determined in their pursuit of him. I don't know what it's going to amount to. I hope they get him. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Blue Jays are putting themselves in a good position now. I'll say this, and I want to get your thoughts on this as well. So I think the worst case scenario is him going to the New York Yankees, re-signing with the New York Yankees. Now, what the Blue Jays may be doing is driving up the price, and hopefully the Mets are the only ones that are willing to outbid the Blue Jays. That is the next best scenario, in my opinion, as opposed to Juan Soto just signing with the Blue Jays. What do you think of that perspective?
Yeah, I think if they sign, let's say tomorrow we wake up and he signs with the Mets, I'm considering that not a win for the Jays, but really the best realistic outcome. We discussed this on our stream. Yankees would be the worst case, and I think Red Sox obviously followed by that. I think the Yankees are just scarier at this point, scarier of a
Yeah.
team. But that being said, you can make the argument that the Red Sox are prepared to be better in the future with a lot of their prospects that they have. Obviously, Meyer, they have a bunch of other guys. Obviously, Rafael Devers locked up. So it's interesting to see what they do, with the young core, Marcelo Meyer, Juan Soto out of that would be crazy. But it's 100% it. The New York Yankees would be the worst case scenario, I would say, at this point. And if he goes to the Mets, I'm upset because the Jays don't get him, but I'm also not devastated because now he's out of the AL East, and the AL East is a little bit weaker than it once was, even though the Red Sox are looming in. You can see this report from Mark Feinsand. The basic dynamics, similar to what reported yesterday. Toronto is I believe this one was Mark Feinsand. One of them was. Toronto is widely believed to be the most aggressive financially, but a less likely landing spot. So somehow, and it would be in typical Jays fashion to have the highest bid after everyone's saying offseason is going to go where the money is, to have the highest bid, and it could come out. Let's say the Jays offered 695 and Cohen offers 680, and he goes with the Mets for that 15 million. It would be in Jays fashion that so this one's from Martin on NYC, but Mark Feinstein had a similar thing, ripping the Blue Jays a little bit today, by the way.
But
But
I don't understand that, Nick. Like, where's the consistency here, right? Like at the
welcome to off-season
yeah, but
reporting.
at the beginning of the offseason, from all the credible reporters, we were hearing the highest bidder, the highest bidder. He's chasing the money. But now, because it's the Blue Jays, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't get that. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but what are we doing here? Like, why is this the scenario that we're facing now? That the Blue Jays are the ones that are the most aggressive financially? I don't get it.
No, I think either if it comes out at the end, and similar to what we'll learn, I'm sure by the end of it, because with Shohei Ohtani, we kind of just learned that he wanted to go west all along. So maybe we'll hear here with Juan Soto at the end of it next year or something that he didn't really want to didn't want to come to the Jays. As we bring up this chart from again yesterday, where the Jays are 30%. But it is interesting. I mean, every reporter, I guess besides even Jeff Passan has kind of hinted at the fact that they're going in on Juan Soto, but it's interesting, and they're going to be the most financially aggressive. We've seen some people think here. You see this here from Mike Rodriguez. Again, this is one of the less reliable reporters, similar to the level of Hector Gomez, for example, which again, whether you want to believe him, some Dominican player sources for sure. He said, I recently had a chance to converse with a source close to Juan Soto who revealed some intriguing insights. Observations. It appears Soto, friends and family consider Yankees to be his top choice, with the Mets trailing closely and the Jays being a little bit distant. So you have that there, but you also have this from another different reporter. Andrew Freeman and Brandon Gomez did do their due diligence and met with Scott Boras and Juan Soto. That's, of course, the front office of the Los Angeles Dodgers. My understanding is this is nearing a close, and the Toronto Blue Jays have made a serious offer. The New York Mets have made a serious offer, and the Yankees may be on the outside looking in. And then, of course, they have the reference of David Ortiz, and a Santa Claus type laugh was going to lure Juan Soto to Boston, which is, I mean, sure, yeah, I mean, it could have happened, I guess. I don't know the exact numbers. My understanding is coming down to the wire. It wouldn't surprise me if Soto is signed before winter meetings started on Sunday. So, makes sense. This correlates with the Jeff Passan report here, but I mean, at the end of the day, the Jays made a serious offer. I think they're probably going to make the biggest offer. But if it's a matter of $5 million and Juan Soto wants to go to the New York Mets that have a better, in theory, team and future, if you want to, in theory, again, it is what it is, up to your interpretation there. He's going to go to where he ultimately wants to play. But, I mean, I think we're preparing ourselves here, Peter, for a highest bid, still lose out scenario.
Well, I mean, there's nothing you could do at that point. If that's how it ends up shaping out, then you did your best. You tip your cap to whatever, and you go on. You try to address your holes on your roster with some other additions in the offseason. I don't think there's anything else you can do. The best position that you could put yourself in is to be the highest bidder. Everything that we've been hearing now, it's been pretty consistent that the Blue Jays will be that, at least for their first initial offer. It seems that way. Maybe Steve Cohen, when they meet next week, is going to come around and offer $50 million more, and the Blue Jays won't be willing to go there, and I'll understand it to a certain degree. But the one thing that I don't want to happen is for him to go to the Boston Red Sox and then Vladdy joins him a year
He's
later.
liking posts.
Then I think I would go off the grid. I don't think I would ever want to watch baseball again. I don't think I'll ever have the desire to even think about baseball ever again if that were to happen. So worst case scenario, him going to the Yankees in the short term, and then just nightmare fuel, total nightmare fuel is him going to the Boston Red Sox and his best buddy Vladdy joining him a year later. So no, thank you. Don't sign me up for that. It's going to be an interesting decision whenever it happens to be made, and we're going to have you guys covered every step of the way. But Nick, I'm feeling kind of at ease with the situation. I'm not setting myself up for failure here. And I think we've both been pretty consistent on our stance that he's not going to sign with the Toronto Blue Jays. We're remaining optimistic. We're remaining hopeful. But if it doesn't happen, I think we can take solace in the fact that they tried yet again. But maybe it's just not meant to be for them to get a mega star in free agency. The best way to do it is, I guess, to home grow those kind of players.
Or trade, which they've yet to really do regarding a superstar. But yeah, I think it's
Josh Donaldson.
yeah, I guess Josh
Won an
Donaldson. I guess
MVP.
in the recent Ross
Sure.
Atkins over the past handful of seasons. But I think at the end of the day, we're at the I think we're at both at the point now where we don't know when the last video will be before this decision is made. It could be this video, it could be the next video. So I think at this point, he's probably going to end up a New York Met, and I hope that's the case if it's not the Toronto Blue Jays. But nightmare fuel would be the Red Sox, and honestly, it's kind of nightmare fuel if he joins the Red Sox, whether or not they get Vladdy, because they have a lot of young players who are coming up and ready to go there. So stay out of the AL East, and I'll be content. But that'll wrap it up. Let us know down below what your thoughts are on this. But we can say optimistic for now. We see this great, reliable chart here from MLB Network. But jokes aside, all teams are in it, and I think that the Jays, they have a chance, and that's better than I thought they would be at this point when this season ended. So let us know down below what your thoughts are. Hit the subscribe button. See you later.